Question number 2.
Oh, number 2.
Sarah, we're going to start with you. What issues do you see facing Silver Falls School District now and in the immediate future? And how will you address those issues if elected?
I think budget, period. Budget is our biggest problem right now in our district, and I think what happened in the past couple years is we had a lack of transparency with our budget. People were not requesting the budget. People needed to see the budget to understand what was happening with our district. And so if I was elected, I would first and foremost make sure that as a board, we are evaluating the budget every single month. We need to have eyes on budget and hold the administration accountable for following that budget. There's a lot of uncertainty in our budget right now because we don't have state numbers and we're not going to have them by the time the budget is has to be in. Also, federal government funding, we don't know when that's going to be in. Last I heard was October. So we have a lot of uncertainty, but we need to create a strong, balanced budget that puts student-facing staff first for our students because they're going to have the biggest impact on our students. Another thing that is going to be coming soon is our very aging buildings. I worked at Silvercrest, and every day I'd walk out of my classroom and look up and see a rotting soffit. All of our buildings have maintenance issues, and we need to work with this community to build trust, first and foremost, so that we can pass a bond. We need to, though, show our town that we have a plan to maintain our buildings once we improve them. So I'd like to work to figure out how do we maintain on our limited budget or potentially get a maintenance levy in order to do so, and then how do we put some new buildings and a place where our students would be proud to learn in.
Okay, thank you very much. Wally, what issues do you see facing Silver Falls School District now and in the immediate future, and how will you address those issues if elected?
That's a great question. Obviously, the financial situation of the district is dire. Last year, they had to get a loan to meet summer payroll. This year, they are looking at probably around 4% carryover. That number needs to be closer to 10%. You ask, why is this happening? Well, we are losing kids, and our enrollment is going down. When enrollment goes down, our funding decreases from the state. So you ask, why are these kids leaving? Well, the district has changed, which was mentioned earlier. People are finding other alternatives. We need to make this district a place where parents want to send their kids like it used to be. We used to be a very desirable district. People were clamoring to come into our district, and we were having increasing enrollment. We need to have high goals educationally. I was at the board meeting Monday night, and they were talking about goals. And two goals that really caught my attention was regarding reading efficiency at third grade level, meeting the standard. The goal is 55%. That's almost half the kids. We need to be much higher there. We need to be much more aggressive. The other one was graduation rate. That number was 90%. It used to be around 90%, and then we got it up into the mid-90s. It was at least 92%. And the reason for that, because we were laser focused on getting the graduation rate up. We found that we needed to make sure kids were in their seats and they were in class. And when that happened, they ended up meeting the requirements for graduation. We need to, when we look at our budgeting and where we set our priorities, we need to be looking at educational excellence. We need to be looking at educational rigor. And we need to look at educational growth.
Right, thank you. Kellie, your turn. What issues do you see facing Silver Falls School District now and in the immediate future? And how will you address those issues if elected?
Well, I think that in the wake of the financial crisis last year, we could turn this into a pretty good opportunity to look at how to intentionally spend the money that we do have. I think the current board and our new superintendent have increased their transparency a lot. They are paying really close attention to the numbers now, and I think all of that is great. And as we are kind of able to rebuild, we need to consider how to do that in the best possible way to make the most out of the dollars that we have. For example, we need to have good curriculum that is for reading, math, so that we can have higher goals for reading levels, for example. We need to have curriculum that aligns across various age groups from early elementary school up through middle school, so that if a kid changes schools or isn't quite on track, there's a path for them to kind of stay on track or get on track. And we're not changing curriculum every couple of years. That creates these gaps that are difficult for students to overcome. We are also in the process, potentially, of creating some online options for students according to the superintendent. I think that'll be a great way to capture students who are leaving the district. Programs like CTE have a record of having a graduation rate closer to 95%. So if we can have programs that capture students who need these employability skills and a different path to graduation, we can improve our graduation rates. And then again, considering things like families who opt out of state testing, you know, we need to be able to figure out bigger picture besides just
Thank you
this
very
one
much.
test score.
All right, Nicole, what issues do you see facing Silver Falls School District now and in the immediate future? And how will you address those issues if elected?
Well, everybody is going to say the budget because of what happened. And although I agree with that, I actually think the most major issue is something completely different that might not be mentioned, and it's safety. I think it's the biggest issue, mostly because when our students do not feel safe and they have a heightened level of anxiety and fear, they are not capable of learning at the level we want them to. If we want to get test scores up, and if we want to see improvements in graduation rates and success with our students, we have to make sure when they come to school, they feel safe. This is physical safety. I know the incident at the high school created a lot of fear over the last couple of weeks. We need to address that, but it also involves emotional safety. I can't tell you the amount of students that come across my desk every single week that are scared to present to their teachers, that are scared to take tests, that are scared to be involved in their classrooms because of all of these different issues that are going on within our halls that we are not addressing as educators. I want to have conversations about this so that we can ensure we are creating an environment for our students where they're going to be able to learn. All of these things that we're talking about fixing are super important, but they're not going to be effective unless our students feel safe within the halls.
Okay, thank you very much. Daniel, what issues do you see facing Silver Falls School District now and in the immediate future? And how will you address those issues if elected?
I think the first one is trust. Did I turn that on?
I think I might have.
Nice strategy. I think the first one is trust. I think we've lost this trust into the school board. I think that the people that are sitting here obviously are there to look to see if we can change the situation. I do think that the board and the current superintendent have started the process, and I say thank you for that. Obviously, there's a financial issues. The teacher contract is coming up pretty soon. And I personally think it's pretty outrageous that it took 2 years almost to sign the last one. And now a year later, we have to start negotiating the next one already. The facilities, of course, also. And I think the way to fix all that, the trust, the financial, the teacher, it's all part of changing the culture. Going back to a culture where staff is happy, students are happy. And if teachers and students are happy, they will feel more safe, which is accurate, actually. And so we need to first clarify the past. We need to have an explanation on really what happened. This, to me, feels like it's been put under the carpet. And I still am not sure what happened. I'm still not even sure what the budget shortage was. And I think that's unacceptable because I'm a taxpayer. I think that obviously transparency and communication is primordial. I've been on the website a lot since this has started. And Lord, it's not easy to navigate. And I know I'm old and not very good with computers, but that's just not. So transparency, communication, clarify the past, and continue to move forward on what has already been started is the key to moving forward.
Okay, thank you. David, it's your turn.
I've been heartened by how good the answers are, so I'll try to say a
Do
few
you
things.
not want me to ask you the question?
No, no.
Okay, all right. Go right ahead then.
So first, the same, we're facing a challenge that everybody else is facing, which our demographics are changing. People are having fewer children, there's less population pressure. Also, people have options, they can homeschool their children. So with that being said, I think we have to treat education as part of, as a market. We are like any other business, and we have to be appealing. With that being said, I've been going around talking to parents, and it's been very surprising to me that the thing that they virtually all mention is educational integrity. They want Silver Falls to go back to where we were before, where they felt like people were getting a great education. I know my children did, so what happened? I can't say I know, but the fact that all the parents are bringing this up worries me a little bit. We do have a unique opportunity in Silver Falls. We have something that no one else has. We have these wonderful, wonderful, beautiful rural schools, and they are appealing to people from out of district, people who are going to more dangerous places and would want their kids to be in a safe environment. I think that that's a little hard to bring about in town, but we should not forget that it is very appealing to people what we have out of town. Finally, I am very, very oriented towards numbers. I know that we are not necessarily just trying to quantify a good education by the percentage of people that get a good grade on, the AP test or whatnot. But in the end, we have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be honest about what the numbers are. And just in 2 months doing research on Silver Falls, I have not found it to be terribly transparent. I think we can do better.
Okay, thank you very much.